Okay, this is a testimony as well as providing understanding about Cheon Shim Won and Cheonil Sanctum. And also the last three, we have lineage, we have ownership, and we have heart. So the heart means inheriting the heart of true love. I will try to attempt to explain how we can inherit this realm of heart of true love to Cheon Shim Won and Cheonil Sanctum, and also share my testimony about my experience at Cheon Shim Won. So I'd like to share the words of True Mother. This was a message that True Mother gave at Cheonhwagung, which is True Parents' house here in Vegas. And the main point is the two pillars of spirit and truth. Okay. And spirit is Cheon Shim Won, and truth is the Family Federation for Peace and all our church organization. And in this speech, True Mother said that the Family Federation and Youth Federation should unite, centering on Cheon Shim Won internal training and move forward together. So on April 30th, okay, last year, 2022, True Mother gave her bedroom, True Parents' bedroom at Cheonhwagung, and personally supervised and converted it to Cheon Shim Won. So even the Cheon Shim Won in Korea, according to Bishop Kim, True Mother did not personally set it up, but it was here in Las Vegas that she personally set up Cheon Shim Won here in Las Vegas. So that's significant, and I think the reason why is because America is supposed to be the elder son nation, and Cheon Shim Won America must extend this amazing blessing to the rest of the world as elder son. This is my understanding. So based on this Cheon Shim Won USA Las Vegas, spiritual phenomena will take place, okay? And we will resurrect and rebuild America. And so we need to understand that the revival of spirit and truth has to be done victoriously, okay? This is a direction that True Mother has given. So I will go on. So according to President Lee, Cheon Shim Won was actually originally established earlier in Korea, but renamed as Cheon Shim Won based on 7 years of True Mother's Cheongsam. So you must understand that the Cheon Shim Won in Cheongpyeong was originally not Cheon Shim Won. I don't know what it was called, but it was renamed after 7 years. Okay. And so this is a speech that President Lee, who oversees Cheon Shim Won, gave to explain this. Now, after the first Cheongbo Great Works here in Las Vegas, I was not able to attend the first one because I was down with COVID. my son-in-law and daughter had COVID. And after I had COVID on Monday, I received two very clear. I woke up on Monday after 5 days of confinement, and two things came to my mind, very clear in my mind. One is Jacob's ladder, and the other one is cloud of witnesses. Now, those who come from Christian background will understand that while Jacob, after the victorious mother and son cooperation, that means after receiving the blessing from his father, the mother arranged for Jacob to go to his uncle Laban. Okay. So on the way there, but because of the victorious mother and son cooperation, he was tired, and then he rested on a rock for a pillow. And while he was resting that night, he had this dream. He dreamed that there was a ladder, and this ladder is not created by man. It's God arranged this ladder from heaven, where God is, all the way the ladder came down on earth. And angels of God were ascending and ascending and descending on it. So this is not something man-made. This is God provided this ladder. Okay. So which means this Jacob's ladder has tremendous significance. It means that somehow, because of the fall, God could not substantially be in this physical world. He could not be substantially with Adam and Eve and fallen man. Could not. God wanted to participate in the marriage blessing of Adam and Eve that God would have given, but because of the fall, God could not be the substantial God of Adam and Eve and fallen man, So there was no direct dominion established, which means that the cause of restoration, because of the victory of the mother and son cooperation, God will have to somehow establish some kind of physical substantialization for him to be in this physical world. It's almost like heaven and earth was completely separated, yeah? So you have to also understand that true parents establish himself as a true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. That is also the title that not only true parents have to establish, but God also wanted to have that title as well. So already from here, we can see that establishing Cheon Shim Won and Cheonil Sanctum became the very goal that God has from the time of the fall until May 5th. So you have to understand that that is what God wanted to establish, okay? So that God can actually be here physically. So after the Jacob's ladder, we know that we have the temple, okay? And then there was a second temple built by King Solomon that was destroyed, okay? So the temple, establishing the temple also is part of the process for the substantialization of God in this physical world. As we know, the temple symbolized Jesus as well, okay? But Jesus could not establish himself as in the position of true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. So this was established by true parents, and then Cheon Shim Won, and then Cheonil Temple. Yeah. So at the same time, True Mother true parents talk about the importance of sovereignty, people, and land, especially after establishing Cheonil. Okay, so for people in the year 2020, October 11, True Mother said that by 2027, okay, when Chongbo couples and families and blessed families celebrate 60th anniversary of Heavenly Parents' Day, centering on True Mother, we have to have at least 1/3 of humankind restored by 2027. Okay? So we need someone crazy enough to recommend to True Mother, how will this 1/3 of humankind, how we can establish this foundation? This is a very important, necessary foundation. And we have to ask ourselves, based on this blessing that we are given in Cheon Shim Won, how to establish 1/3 population of the world to be restored by 2027. Very important condition for all Chongbo couple and for all blessed and true family to think about and how we can fulfill this responsibility. Now, I won't go into much detail, but in terms of sovereignty of God, we have to understand that there are 3 Bible verses, 2 in the Old Testament and 1 in the New Testament, Hebrew, okay? These are the 3 that talk about one heart, new spirit, and new covenant, okay? Where God's clearly mentioned that actually for the first coming, God will give the chosen people a new heart, a new spirit, and a new covenant. Okay? So much so that none of them need to teach his neighbor, saying, "Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them." The word know, as you know, means more than knowledge. Okay? If you go by the understanding of absolute sex, this means that, God wants to participate in the marriage love relationship between husband and wife. So that is the amazing blessing. And we are living in that age. So Cheon Shim Won and Cheonil Temple is so that this substantial presence of God of direct dominion we can have it between marriage, through the marriage blessing, through the love relationship of husband and wife, in couples, in blessed couple. And we can establish and bring Cheon Shim Won spirit into our home. Okay? Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I don't have so much time to go through this. 2 in the Old Testament, 1 in Hebrew. Okay? And now I'm going to connect this to realm of heart of true love, which is, remember we talk about lineage, change of ownership, and finally change realm of heart. This final change realm of heart is through inheriting from God. And this is Cheon Shim Won and Cheonil Temple. Okay? Now I quote this verse that 2 parents gave in 1958. The cause of restoration is heading towards an age when thought will be centered on spirit. Spirit. So the two pillars, spirit and truth. Okay? So what is the spirit? So we have to understand is through Cheon Shim Won and Cheonil Sanctum. Okay? And it's also connected to the first blessing, the first commandment that God gave. Love God. All your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. Okay? And second commandment is love your neighbor. And love your neighbor, what is the relevance of it? It starts with loving your spouse. Loving your spouse is the second commandment. Loving God, the first commandment. And this is a very important verse, you know. Then where is God's original hometown? The basis of his original hometown is a recognition by his son and daughter that he is their father. So this is really something we went through in previous lecture, that we can feel not only in our understanding, we can feel God is my father. So I had that experience in Cheon Shim Won when I call God Abuji, Amudim. Tears just came down to my eyes, you know. This is how amazing calling two parents, heavenly parent, as my father, my mother, my heart can be moved to tears. And then not so long after that, I never had this experience also. I look at true parents' picture and tears started to flow down from my eyes, rolling down my cheeks. I never had that experience before. The true parents, you know, are the true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. As Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So that also is a very important understanding, you know, that if you see true parents, you know, if you have gone through pain for heaven, if you have gone through suffering for heavenly parent, when you look at true parents, many times true parents say, you cannot but have tears in your eyes. Yeah. So that is also an experience that ever since then, when I pray at Cheon Shim Won and call upon Heavenly Parent, Abuji, Amonim, I have tears in my eyes. Tearful prayer at Cheon Shim Won. I'm not a man of prayer, but every time I go to Cheon Shim Won and pray and I call out Abuji and Amonim, tears come to my eyes. You know? So also another thing that came to me while I was in Cheon Shim Won is this original heart that was lost. This is the thing that, what is the saddest part of God's heart is, as you know, recently Dr. Yong mentioned about this, when God's lineage was lost in mankind, in Adam and Eve. But in terms of heart, what is most sad is that we lost longing heart. Longing heart, we lost that. The other thing we lost is also, we cannot feel the suffering heart of God because we lost the ability to feel for others. The self-awareness is centered on self. But we can feel our suffering, but we cannot feel the suffering of others. So we cannot feel the suffering of God. So how can we comfort God? We cannot feel the suffering of others and the suffering of God. Cannot. So longing heart is this amazing, blessed are the poor in spirit. Again, poor in spirit, what does it mean? That means you lost this heart to be able to long for someone. And Dr. Young talks about in the last few mornings, you know. We cannot miss anymore. We don't have a yearning heart for anybody. We have no longing heart for anybody. We don't miss anybody. We don't long for God. That's how sad God feels, because we don't feel any kind of longing heart for God, yearning heart for God. We don't miss God, and we don't have any longing heart for anybody. This is the saddest part that God feels for us, because we lost that longing heart. So blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. You can have this longing heart through Cheon Shim Won. It's amazing blessing, you know. Purity. Those who are pure in heart, they shall see God. Those who mourn, they shall be comforted. That means they can feel the suffering of others. They can feel the suffering of God. And so they can shed tears. Yeah. Unfortunately, we lost that. And also we lost shame and tearful heart. We have no more shame, you know. In Chinese, shame is an amazing word. For Western, shame is a bad word. It's a cause of guilt. But for Eastern and for true parents, shame is an amazing original expression of the heart. This is what true parents say. If you give your utmost and still feel ashamed that you could not give more, then you're owner of true love. This is a definition, most wonderful definition what true love is from true Father. Even after you give everything, you still feel ashamed that you didn't give enough. So this is the original expression of God's heart. We don't have shame anymore because we lost that as well. Usually I don't want to talk about love, and Asian culture doesn't want to talk about love. Finally, we can inherit this realm of heart of true love. Why should we like God? It's because he gives and gives everything to all people and still feel ashamed. We can inherit this heart. So my own testimony, my husband and wife relationship with my wife is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. But through Cheon Shim Won, you know, she testified publicly that she loved coming to Cheon Shim Won. She loved coming to Cheon Shim Won together with her husband, publicly in Cheon Shim Won. And then when I sent her to the airport, first time ever, she gave me a kiss, you know. And then another time, another second trip, she goes up to take care of my two grandsons. Second trip, she gave me a kiss again, you know. That time, I didn't have any kiss at all. But just recently, I sent her to the airport. She gave me a big hug. First time again. So I don't think I did that. That's Cheon Shim Won. Okay. And also the last testimony I want to give is that we started a 40 days conditional reading exposition of divine principle. So I said, why not we try and broadcast through Zoom? And then I said, why not we also have the Cheon Shim Won candle? Okay. And after we have the Cheon Shim Won candle, oh my goodness, I feel that Cheon Shim Won's spirit came into our living room. And then a few days after that, we had some argument. And while we were sitting down there reading our condition, I could feel that I'm entering into my fallen state. And then I decided that I'm not going to go there. And then like change of consciousness, you know. I could feel like the camera shutter, you know, comes down, and then I could feel Cheon Shim Won's spirit coming back to be in our presence. So I feel that actually through somehow the holy candle, we can bring Cheon Shim Won's spirit into our home, into our hearts. And if we broadcast this through Zoom, I believe that we can bring Cheon Shim Won's spirit also to other families, to new guests. And now Bishop Kim, after sharing this, I said that how to accomplish 1/3 population of the world. The gift, the last gift of True Mother, Cheon Shim Won. Okay, we can change the spiritual atmosphere of new guests who join us through Zoom. Okay, so I am, Bishop Kim now is exploring this, and in Korea, Cheon Shim Won is actually reviving centers that do not have any new members. Many people are healed from demons and all that. So healing of amazing healing of diseases. People cannot walk. Even in Las Vegas, there are people who were on a wheelchair and then they came to Cheon Shim Won, Las Vegas, and they could walk. Okay, thank you very much. This is a bit long today. I hope you can have an amazing understanding of Cheon Shim Won and Cheonil Sanctum. Thank you so much.